Hi everyone, how are you doing? Hope you're good, hope you're fine. Hope you're doing well. Welcome to Lawyers Infohub. It's a pleasure to have you on this platform. This is Lawyers Infohub. It's a platform where we simplify law concepts. We teach law in a more simplified way. We encourage you to grow in your career path, and we share experiences. We bring in people to share their own experiences aimed at helping you become better in your practice, in your career as a lawyer and as a law student. So today we're looking at improving your legal knowledge. Now, the great saying goes this way that a great lawyer is that lawyer that knows where to get the law and not the lawyer that knows all the law. It's not possible to know everything, but it's also possible to know a bit of everything. Now, law practice is beyond being called to the bar. Law practice is beyond even going to court. There's a lot of things that comes with law practice, but the ability to improve your legal knowledge, it's what brings you to the higher pedestal. It's what makes people refer to you as an expert. It's what makes people come to you for legal solutions. Now, those big lawyers you know of, and other fast rising lawyers you know of, they didn't become that person they are overnight. They didn't grow to become that great lawyer. That firm didn't grow to become that big firm overnight. It took a process. And that process, the part of that process is that they improved their legal knowledge. They sought ways to expand their legal frontiers. And that's what brought them to that enviable point or level where people always refer to them as one of the biggest law firms, one of the biggest lawyers we have in our country, or in Africa, or in Nigeria, whatsoever you want to call it. So we're going to look at what are the ways in which you can improve your legal knowledge. You know something, as a lawyer, you stand in the same level as a doctor. Yes, because when people come to a doctor, they assume the doctor should know the problem, the solution to their problems. And when a doctor starts misdiagnosing, that can lead to a fatal problem for the patient. So for clients who come to you for legal solutions, and you cannot render or you cannot even offer good legal solutions, then there's a problem. So improving your legal knowledge helps you to be able to satisfy your clients, helps you to be able to do your cases well, help even for law students and for other students in the law school. Improving your legal knowledge helps you to, finish your studies well, helps you to become that dignified, refined student, helps you to become better in your studies. When you are doing whatever, when you're answering your questions, when you're being called for solutions or being asked for answers to legal questions, you just dish it out effortlessly. And as a lawyer, when people come to you for legal solutions, you effortlessly dish it out because you know it, because you have trained yourself over the years to be able to be abreast with the law, the changing law. Remember that the law is a changing law. Over time, things are changing, the dynamics are changing, the laws are changing. So you must know what is happening in your career, in your profession, and you must grow as the law is growing. So one of the first ways you can increase your legal knowledge is one. I'm going to list out some points just for you to note it and practice it, and it's going to help you. One is be willing to learn. If you want to improve your legal knowledge and you're not willing to learn, you're not excited about new things, you're not excited about the new laws, you're not excited about the new decisions, you're not excited about what the law is saying in this area or what has changed, what is the new law, you might not have that courage to be able to improve your knowledge. So be excited, be positive, be anxious to know more. You mustn't know everything, just like I earlier stated, but you must know the basic. You must know at least a bit of everything. Yes, because you never can tell the area of law clients are coming with. You never can tell the legal the solutions people require from you. The diverse areas of law is going to come from. So at least you should have an idea of a lot of things. Now, with the aid of technology, it isn't very easy for you to improve your legal knowledge. One of the very first things I learned when I started practicing is the fact that a lawyer must be a lover of reading. You must be able to read the laws, read the rules, read the decided cases. Now, let's get to decided cases. You must have a plan. Yes, you must have a plan. How your law knowledge increase plan by asking yourself or giving yourself tasks. You must have targets. It could be yearly target, it could be quarterly target, it could be monthly target, it could be by monthly target. You must at least have a target that in this first quarter of the year or in this month, I'm going to at least know 20 principles of law with cases. I'm going to know 20 principles of law with cases. You know something, when you're done with school, um because of the way the school structure, the learning structure is the state of it in Nigeria, the state of the learning structure, people tend to just cram to pass exam. People don't really read to internalize or read to know. People just read to just cram and pass exam. And when you now come into practice, you see that beyond the cramming, you need to know these things. You need to know these principles to guide you in whatever you're doing in handling your matters. Be you, whether you're an in-house lawyer, you're doing commercial transactions, you're a practicing lawyer, any area of law you are, any sector you are, any career path you've chosen, you need to increase your legal knowledge. Yes, so you must have targets, you must have plan. Your plan can be one that in a month, I must know at least, even if it's 20 legal principles with cases. 20 legal principles with cases. Now, there are lots and lots of materials online. There are lots and lots of even hard copy materials. Yes. For example, you can see these are law reports. Yes. You can pick up one law report and you can see even 10 principles of law in it. So you're going to tell yourself, like, in this month, I'm going to learn 50 or 30 or 40 principles of law with cases. You might add up to one case or two cases, not just old cases. Try and look at new cases. Now, how do you go about it? If, for example, you want to learn about issue of chieftaincy law, or what happens, how do you prove, maybe you want to prove issue of how do you prove ownership of land, or you want to learn about issue of rape, you want to learn about the statement, how an accused can give his statement, how to go about trial within trial, whatever principle of law that you desire, then you will list them out. Then make your research on them, and each of them at least have 2 cases on each. Have your notes. You cannot be a good lawyer when you don't have practice notes. You see some big lawyers, if you go close to them in the library, you see they still have practice notes. So having practice notes is very important. This is where you list out this principle of law you're going to read about or you're going to research on. Then list out the 2 or 3 cases under it. You know, if you have the capacity, you can have even no more than 10 cases. It's depending on your capacity, but you're going to take it one step at a time, depending on your availability, your timing, and your reading capacity. You know, many people don't read for long. Many people, have different strategies to reading or research. So you must know what works for you. So if I say, for example, let's do 20 law principles in a month. Okay, you not divide it in the 20 in a month by the days of the month. Okay, how many am I supposed to learn in a week? When you know that principle, you read about the principle, not just getting cases. To read about the principle. What does this principle say? What does this principle say? Maybe, for example, you want to read about trial within trial. When can trial within trial happen? If it happens, what is the procedure? If I'm on the defense, I'm a defense counsel, what should I know about? What should I do? If I'm on the prosecution, what should I do? What are the objections that can be taken trial within trial? What is the procedure? How can the court? These are things you must read about that legal principle. Then you look at cases. You read about the cases, or maybe 2 or 3 cases, and you know them. You look for another principle of law You read about that principle of law and you note cases. That way, before you know it, you are a reservoir. You become a consultant. Lawyers begin to consult you. When you go to court and some things are happening, you don't even need to, you see, you can see yourself citing cases, without even having reference to them. You know, not something you do overnight. It's not something that internalizes overnight. Over time, in your spare time, you read your practice notes. In your spare time, you read your practice note. Now, when you are reading cases, try and know the facts of the case. Try and know what was held. Try and know what is the legal analysis. What was the problem? What was the solution? In a case, you see the two lawyers arguing. Try and know what angle was the claimant counsel arguing from. What angle did the defendant's counsel argue from? Then what was the court resolution? How was the court able to bring these two arguments together and bring out what the right position is? That way, you'll be able to know. Peradventure, you might be in the space of the defendant counsel in another matter you're handling, or you're in the claimant's position in a matter you're handling. You know how to go about it, and you now know what is the mind of the court. What is the mind of the court? So if you utilize this strategy, and peradventure you do 20 principles of law in a month, I must know 20 principles of law. I must know 2 cases or 3 cases attached to these principles of law in a month. Then if you put it into 12 months, you can now calculate how many principles of law you would have known. There are some people, when you see them talk in court, you'll be wondering, how did these people do this? It's a thing of training. You must train yourself. For you to be a lawyer people refer to, for you to be a referral or a reference point, for you to be that lawyer who people feel you know the law, is not something of overnight. You see that most of those people that you see that knows the law, talks the law, if you go close to them, you see that it's a product of time. It's a process of time. They have started doing this, and over time, when they talk, they know at least they know the principle. They know, my Lord, this is the right thing. This is the procedure. And these cases are at the snap of their fingers. So your practice note is very important. So this first strategy works when even if you can't do 20 law principles in a month, because okay, in this month, no matter how busy I am, I'm going to learn 5 principles of law. If you learn that 5 principles of law with, let me say, two cases, I know they will see that you've known 10 cases and you've known maybe 5 principles of law. The next month you have another target. The next month you have another target. These things will come handy. And by the time you internalize these things and you begin to see it work out, people will be looking at you like, wow, it's not an overnight thing. Another strategy you can use to improve your legal knowledge is when you go to court or you have an opportunity to be around lawyers, don't be in a hurry to leave. See, when you go to court and you don't always be in a hurry, once you're done with your matter, you're leaving. Stay back, listen to arguments. Listen to arguments. Even when any day you don't have a matter in court, you can just walk into, it could be a court of appeal, or you have an opportunity to be in the Supreme Court, just go sit down and listen. People that have gone ahead of you, listen to what they are saying. Look at the manner of approach, the way they address the court, their line of argument. You learn. When you are in court and a lawyer cites a case, and maybe it's a very interesting case, or the judge in the course of reading a ruling or reading a judgment cites a case, note it down. Go back and look at it. Yes, go back and look at it. Maybe something very novel and a case is cited. Go back, look for it, read it, and learn it. So when you get to court, don't always be in a hurry to leave. Listen to other people argue, learn from the argument, learn how these people are approaching the court, how they interact with the court, how they maintain, the law language. Do you have the law language? When you read law report, this is an aside. When you read law report and internalize it, you can write briefs with ease. You know why? You would have mastered the way these judges write. When you're a lover of law reports and you read law reports very well, when you write, there's a difference between your mode and your language you use than a person who does not read law reports. When you read law reports, you see the language of the law simplified. You see the right words to use. You see how you go through the mind of the judge or the justice or whoever you wrote that judgment. So when you read law reports, you're helping yourself. You are building yourself. You are improving your legal knowledge. You're understanding how the law works. You see over time, maybe Supreme Court has overruled itself, or this law has changed from what it used to be. You know about it. Another way to improve your legal knowledge is be abreast with the statutes, with the laws. A new law is being assented, or the president has given his assent on the law, or it has to be published in the gazette. Go and get the soft copy, even if you cannot buy the hard copy of the law. Know what this law talking about. What's this law talking about? What is the idea of this law? Even if you cannot read everything, have an idea. You see, there are some people, once there's a new law, you see them dissect it to just give a rundown. Like when the new Kama came out, you saw a lot of people did articles on it. What was the new things they added? What was the difference between the old one and the new one? So read things like that. Once there's a new law, read about it. Read about it. In your spare time, pattern yourself, arrange yourself, outline. These are things I need to read. I want to know about maybe your cases revolve more on land, and issue of right of C of O issues, allocation of land, revocation, things like that. You must know what you must know what the land use act, you must know every other law that revolves around it. Your cases revolves around issues of children, gender. You must know all the laws pertaining to what you do. Some of that time you have mix of cases. You don't have a particular line, or you don't have a niche. Keep reading. Any new law that has been made, have been enacted, you need to know about it. Even if you don't know everything, at least you have an idea of what this law is talking about. And very important is when you have cases you're handling, first of all, ask yourself, what law regulates this transaction? Is this issue of employment law? Is this issue of labor? Is this issue of finance? Is this issue of banking? You must ask yourself, what is the legislation? So when you have such a matter, the first thing is go and look at the legislation. What is the legislation saying with respect to what the issues of your clients are, or the transaction involving the issue? So that way you understand it from the point of the law. So another thing in improving your legal knowledge, you must invest in your books, in your library. You must invest in your library. Yes, map up some funds to buy books. As much as some of these books are very expensive, even if you say, okay, in a quarter I'm going to buy 2 books, depending on your capacity, in a quarter or in a month I'm going to buy 1 month 1 book. It could be your drive, and you see that you can be able to achieve it. You can say, okay, in this year I'm going to buy 10 books as my capacity reach, or as my finances increase, or depending on my capacity, whatever it is. Set a goal. How many books are you adding to your library this year or this month? I'm going to add to my law report, or I'm going to download. There's some free legal books you can download, or I'm going to order some books. There are authors, there are legal tests everywhere. It depends on your capacity, what is on your pocket, but make it a point of duty that at every point you're getting something new. Yes, it might not be so rich, but you must have in mind that I want to increase my knowledge base. I want to know the law. I want to know what the law is saying. I want to know, because when you read some people's books, you have read through their mind. They are great authors, great law teachers who have written down a lot of things. But so many people stopped reading when they were in school, and that's not how it is. You should read and understand. You have a matter on contract. If it needs you to go back to ask yourself, what is contract? What are the features of a valid contract? If you need to read it, go back and read it so you understand. So when I look at this contract, are these features present? Is a continuum. You don't stop reading because you've been called to the bar. You don't stop. It is a continual process. You need to keep buying your books, updating your knowledge. Now the soft issue of the law pavilion and other law reports that have been subsidized, utilizing technology, you can subscribe to them. to know what are the latest Supreme Court judgments. What is the Supreme Court saying? You must be a lover of research. You want to grow your legal knowledge, you must be a lover of research. When you are being served the process and a lawyer has utilized maybe 10 law reports or 10 cases in his argument, it's your duty to read through that 10 cases and know how to distinguish it. Knowing how to distinguish between the cases cited and the ones you want to cite, very key. Being able to distinguish, my lord, this person, yes, this is what the law said, but this person did not put it in the right perspective. So when you are being served the process as a lawyer, it's also an opportunity for you to read. Don't just start arguing or putting in your response when you have not even read the argument of another counsel. The other counsel, look at the cases they've cited. Are there other cases supporting your own line of argument? How do you distinguish your cases with this other one? So improving your legal knowledge, it's a continual process. Well, you must make up your mind. You must make up your mind. Yes, you must make up your mind that I'm going to increase my legal knowledge. I'm not going to be that lawyer that I used to be. I must be able to prefer solutions. When you go to court, you see, sometimes when you see some lawyers argue, you wonder, where are they coming from? When you see some people talk, if you read some processes, you wow, this is coming from a place of knowledge. Yes, knowledge puts is like a fragrance. It's it brings a peaceful ambience. It creates a very loving. When people love to come to people that have knowledge. When you have knowledge, that's this fragrance you exude. That's this atmosphere you create around you. And you see, judges listen to people that have knowledge. You know that this one, when he talks, he can even convince the judge. So when you should be known as a lawyer who knows his or her onions. Don't be known as that lawyer is just take this profession as this is my profession and I'm going to do well in it. Don't just take your job or take whatever you're doing as I'm just passing time. I'm tired. Put your heart to it. Tell yourself I can be the best. Improving your legal knowledge is very important. You can't be where you used to be. You should be able to rate yourself. In the last 5 years, have I really grown? In the last 10 years, how far have I grown? When a judgment, even if all these are public litigation cases, when judgment has been given, try and download soft copies of this judgment and read. High profile cases that are of public interest, download, or if you can see someone that can give it to you, sometimes it's even shared. Download it and read, understand why did this court arrive at this decision? Why did they argue? What was even the argument of the defense or the argument of the claimant counsel? And why did the court? That is where you learn. Some people come to sometimes national TVs or come out on public forums to begin to dissect judgment they have not read. It doesn't make sense. You see, when you read judgment and you begin to even understand it, you learn and you begin to juxtapose it with what is the law saying? What are the laws said? How is it? Is it possible? What the court arrived at? Is it the position of the law? What has the Apex Court said about this? What is the law as at now? You see, sometimes you see in court when someone is just citing cases and there's a Supreme Court case on that same decision that has upturned that decision another person. You see, a lawyer with a recent decision stands up with pride and says, my lord, that decision has been overruled, has been upturned. The Supreme Court in so and so has over said this and this. The person talks with pride because I'm updated. So your knowledge must be updated. You must update yourself. You must know what is happening around you. Follow the trend. Read your books. Have your practice notes. Give yourself target. Read your law reports. Read your law reports. So for a great lawyer is a lawyer who knows where to get the law. What if the lawyer now doesn't even know where the law is? That is a tragedy. So I just believe and I hope that these things I've mentioned will help you in improving your learning to become that better lawyer, that highly revered lawyer that you desire to be. Yes, it's a desire, and you can work at achieving your dreams. If you are yet to subscribe to the channel, please consider do consider subscribing to the channel, share this video to your friends, drop your comments, like the video. I want to thank my subscribers. You guys have been amazing. I want to thank all those who stop by to watch my content. I'm really, really, really grateful. Thank you very much. And I hope and I do pray for you that you will succeed in everything you do. Do take care of yourself. I know that you can always be the best. And the sky can just be your stepping stone. Take care.